worked on before, and some things with gold and all that. So that's where I got that nickname. But my name's out there, and of course I can be tracked. So unfortunately, and it's in the books too that I've done too, and you can see the copyright.
Anything else, Richard?
I'll look for that information. Can you buy it? Do you have the videos for sale?
No, I don't sell anything. It's all for download. You can just do it for free. And you go to WellAware1, that's the number 1, WellAware1.com, and you can see, all the stuff that I post up there every day, and try to keep everybody informed of what I'm doing. But I don't sell anything. I've turned down book deals and I've turned down video deals, so I just do this because this is the right thing to do.
Well, your information is great. Keep up the work.
Thank you.
All right. Look. Okay. Thank you, Richard. Okay. Let's go on.
Was that Matt and Trey just trying to get my last name for the credits?
Sure. It's kind of odd.
Yeah.
One of the things adding to this, well, I'll tell you what, get to that. Fits in. I was hoping to touch on Ryan Dunn a little bit, but one of the things I've talked about, when you look at the career paths that are available to people that join the CIA, I mean, this is another, we have to consider all the angles here. There's a media career path. And,
yeah, definitely.
And for some reason, a lot of people believe, well, that means you're going to become like a news broadcaster, like Anderson Cooper or something like that. Isn't Hollywood a career path for this CIA?
I understand that they have their little, their people in all the news bureaus as a permanent fixture. So, I don't know. My personal opinion about the CIA, and do they even exist, honestly? Seriously, they're just invisible people that we're supposed to fear, and they start these wars, and they fly drones and drop bombs without the military knowing, and, and that's where all the black ops come from. All this funding goes to it. Well, we don't know anything about them. And they're supposed to be they're not supposed to be a government agency. It's the agency. It's supposed to be civilians. So, just all these different things that they try to make us fear. And that's one of them. Maybe I got to knock on my door in a few minutes, but who knows, I don't know. And you have to really consider that, because look who is said to have started that. It was Nazis and Bush and all those. So all these stories that are floated out there that who knows?
And beyond that, and actually, if you look at the movie The Good Shepherd, it actually shows you that the people involved in it are actually men that like to have sex with other men and not women.
I don't know. No comment.
Speaking of one of these men that may not like women so much, this Ryan Dunn character.
Yeah. That became a personal thing with him. Yeah.
Now, you're saying he was. For those who aren't familiar, he's saying that is Ryan Dunn the actor's name, or is that?
Well, Ryan Dunn is supposedly his real name, and he was the person from the MTV show The Jackass. So he was a person that died supposedly in a car crash not too long ago. And when you look at the car scene, the accident scene, things don't add up. It just doesn't make a lot of sense with what they show us. So that's one of the things that started me thinking that. But that wasn't. I really didn't even put any much more thought into it until the day that I get to the Dallas Occupy movement down here. And, before I could even get across the street, I could see their cell phones go up to their ears, and they're all notifying each other that I'm here. So the day before that, I had exposed them as being, part of MoveOn.org. So I figured that they were going to, give me a hard time. Well, I saw them looking at me, and then they're positioning themselves to try to block shots. And it was funny because I had a team with me that we were doing photographs, and we were also taking video. So while I'm doing video, I'm just not really paying attention to the crowd. I'm getting shots of people's ears and faces that are doing the speaking. Well, this individual about 15 feet in front of me turns around, and he has a female with him, a small, short female. And of course, I didn't pay any attention to him. I'm filming, and he flips me the bird right in the camera as he walks past me. And I turned to the person I was with, and I said, "Did you see that guy just flip me off?" And she said, "Yeah. What was up with that?" And I was like, "I don't know, but he flipped me off, right?" And she was like, "Absolutely." And I was like, "Okay." Well, then later on, I go and I look at the film, and it's Ryan Dunn. And not only is it just Ryan Dunn, but before he died, he was doing a TV show called The Proving Ground. His co-host was Jessica Chobot. And there's Jessica standing right alongside of him. And I looked at this and went, what? Wait a second. Well, then next thing you know, you go and you look at the Occupy movement, and you see this person named Jesse LaGreca. And you look at him and you go, he looks a lot like Dunn. He sounds a lot like Dunn, but he doesn't have any tattoos. Well, neither did this guy, and tattoo removal is pretty painless, and it leaves no scars nowadays. So I'm looking at it going, wait a second. So I have some really good shots of his ear, because Ryan, of course, was plenty of footage out there for me, and plenty of real good high-quality stills. And, of course, Jesse LaGreca was being groomed at this time to be the front man for the Occupy movement. And when I did the ear comparison, and Jesse does this thing also where he's a person that has just shaved his beard off. And what that means is, when they have a long beard, they have a habit of grabbing the beard and, stroking the beard when they're standing there. Well, he does it a few times in the video, and he doesn't have a beard on, so it's like he catches himself. And, yeah, so, and I didn't catch that, but somebody else caught that and brought it to my attention, and then I noticed it and was like, yeah. So then you listen to the voices. And because Ryan Dunn is supposedly dead, they didn't even bother to change his voice. It's totally Ryan Dunn. And, it just, there you go again. And plus the fact that he's with Jessica Chobot, and then Jessica, the next day after I exposed that and exposed him flipping me off, she gets canned from their network.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean,
know that.
Yeah. So now you don't see Jesse anymore really doing anything on the Occupied. So what they do, they move to the next person, and that was the Marine.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah, and what should just strike a chord with people that are out there and, may not necessarily see the similarities as you do them is, who is this stupid guy with a hat, this little effeminate guy with a hat shows up, and all of a sudden, that same night, he's on Daily Show, he's on CBS, he's on NBC, he's on everything, right?
Yeah.
What are the odds of that happening,
Yeah. I mean, and then this guy's flipping me off in the audience. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have paid any attention to that person. I wouldn't have known who he was. He would have just been another face inside my head that didn't have a name attached to it until he flipped me off. And that's when it caused me to look at this person. So, if anybody is one to blame, it's his actions that caused this. So, and then I started getting death threats that night. And the person who was sending them to me was a writer, a blog. And, of course, I sent back saying, hey, I know who you are. You're Ryan Dunn. And it dropped right there. No communication at that point. So, I guess I totally scared him. Because
actually, I've seen that with the trolls. When he called them out by their real name, they tend to disappear.
Yeah. And so did he when it comes to the Occupy movement, too. So I guess I sort of foiled that little plan for him.
Yeah, that little spokesman didn't last too long.
No. So,
now, for anybody listening, whether or not you actually see that, Ryan Dunn is this guy or Jesse LaGreca or not, I think it's, again, you can see it or not. I look back on the death of Ryan Dunn. Okay? I mean, it's a shame, he was such a good actor. I don't know if you caught the amazing episode of Jackass where they decided to do a nude photo shoot. So one guy basically rubbed lather and lard all over another guy's between his butt cheeks. And then the other guy would stay under his balls and photograph him from the balls up. I don't know if you caught that. It was
I think
an amazing piece of film.
Well, it brings up a point, though, what you're saying, though, is, these people that are actors, people think that reality TV, they think it's real. So those guys that are, Bam or, Ryan Dunn on here, that's probably not their real names. So they can do all these stupid things on there, and then basically they take that costume off and then they turn into their normal person, and you wouldn't be able to tell. So, that's just the way Hollywood is. And, so they can do stupid things, and you say, like, oh, I can't believe it. If I ever see that guy on the streets, but you'll never see him on the streets because he doesn't exist. Why would they do that? Why would they have their families on TV, and why would they do these things where you know where they live? Because that's not where they live. It's fake.
Yeah, and I'll say this, I definitely think the death of Ryan Dunn was staged. I mean, you look at it, and you look at the symbols, and he was Highway 322, someplace by Devil something or another.
Well, I know where 322 is. I mean, I live by there. I live in Philadelphia, so that's a real place. But you look where Dunn come from. I mean, where did Bam come from when he gets to the accident scene? And the reporters there, and they go up to him and they interview him. Where did you come from, Bam? And he goes, I just flew in from Arizona. It's like, oh, come on, here we go again. So yeah, and then of course his fake acting. He's not a very good actor when it comes to crying. But yeah,
And I think the conspiracy movement is very good at, because I've seen some other people go off on the death of Ryan Dunn, right? And they don't ask the most important question was, wait, is this even real? Okay?
Yeah.
Because they look at the symbols and they're like, ooh, wow, he died. This is synchromysticism. He died on Highway 322, Devil's Point, etc. Like this isn't coincidence. This isn't the language of the universe. This is a script. This is somebody going, we're going to have him kill him on Highway 322 because...
That's right. And the night before, make sure he makes a devil sign when he takes a picture or something. You know?
Yeah.
They script it out to be something like that, so it throws people off, you know? So, yeah, I mean, there's evil people, and then there's not evil people. So I don't care what symbols they hide under, they're evil. Whoever's at the top of their totem pole, it doesn't matter. It's just they're evil.
Yeah. And actually, ultimately, it doesn't matter. You could spend all your whole life researching it, but... You got to call out criminality where you see it, you know. I think. Yeah,
and that's what I said about these photographs. Unfortunately, you know, we have David Rockefeller Jr. doing something here that I really, honestly, I'd like to, if any lawyers or, you know, any prosecutors are listening, I would love to get in touch with somebody that could give me some advice when it comes to pursuing this on that end of it. So that's my main goal, to hold some people accountable, really.
If anything, I kind of push forth from our show was, you brought up one point earlier, and I think this is a good message to leave people with, is their modus operandi is perform an operation and then rake in as much money as they can from it. You know, look at 9/11 or whatever you want to look at, right? Mm-hmm. But you bring up the point that they create these charities under, you know, whatever, you know, the Kaylee I'm sure there's some fund for Kaylee Anthony or something like that.
Yes, there is. Yep, there is.
The fund for Christina Taylor Greene, right?
Yep.
And they just suck people's money off. And the thing is, just at least stop feeding this beast, because so many people out there just like, if you know people that are doing it, don't, you know.
Yeah.
But they've been doing this for a long time.
They have, and you know, it's easy to become the elite and rich when you're the ones that are creating the news. So, you know, you can manipulate people into buying, say, the Glock, or, you know, after the Jared Loughner thing goes, Glock spiked in sales up 10%. So, you know, they can do things like that. They can manipulate the media. They can manipulate the people enough where they can already have the things in place where they can reap the benefits from it tenfold. And that's just what they've been doing for years and years and years.
Yeah. And, you know, look, you can go back to, you know, the history of the American Cancer Society.
Oh,
you know, here we have somebody, you know, one of the Rockefellers had one of his scientists die from cancer because if you're exposed to radiation, you get cancer. So not only did he come up with radiology, but he also came up with the American Cancer Society to combat cancer.
Yeah. and how many? Oh, go ahead.
You know, they cover every angle of it.
Yeah, and how many nonprofits do you know of that actually, you know, wake up one morning and go, hey, you know what, everybody, good job. We finally finished what we had set out to do. Go home. We're all good. Goodbye. Yeah. No, none of them. It's a corporation. It's set up to be a corporation of business. So their profit is number one. I don't care if it's a nonprofit. Their profit is to stay in business. And, you know, the business is cancer, so the business isn't curing cancer. I don't care what they say. And then look at Soros, and you if you go to like Wikipedia and pull up MoveOn.org, and you'll see a bunch of the logos, about 50 or 60 of them, that are associated with MoveOn.org, and that's all Soros-based stuff. And one of them, of course, is Pink, Code Pink. And, you know, I've gone into this one many times where, you know, she's one of these people that is a character, because I have photographs of her when she's out of character, you know, and she's totally different than when she's in character. And anybody that's associated with Soros is not doing something that we really want to promote, period. It's just not. He's not for this country. He's for this country to be dissolved, and so is Strong, and so is Greenberg. So they're following whatever book that they're following, and it's not the one that we want to endorse.
And people need to stop following these things. I mean, you know, whether it's I have a friend who's devoting his all his spare time now because his father got cancer to raising money for cancer. All right, so he's just basically feeding the beast that gave his father cancers. And I can't talk to him about this. It's a shame because, you know, he would think I was crazy, right? Which kind of goes against what I just said earlier. But the point you just brought up there, these movements that just suddenly rise out of nowhere, you know, whether it's Occupy Wall Street, you know, MoveOn.org, Code Pink, all these groups, you know, Oath Keepers, whatever.
Yep.
People need to realize that if it was organic, it wouldn't just spring up overnight. You know?
That's right. Yeah. I try to tell people, if you're going to give your money to something, or, give it to someone. Pick somebody that is, somebody that's a pioneer, and they're doing something that you can see where your money's going to. And, and like I say, I accept donations, but I don't accept donations from corporations. I try not to. They may slip it in there and I don't know about it. But, I send thank you notes to everybody that sends stuff to me. But, nobody can buy me. Nobody can force me, and I'm not controlled, opposition, whatever they want to say. I do my own thing.